Good morning, everyone. My name's Helen. I'm going to take you through a short 20-minute sequence this morning. So we're going to be working with Sun Salutation B, which is going to fire up the body a little bit, get us warmer, get the energy flowing, and also going to strengthen, especially through the legs, some of the poses, and the arms and core, and pretty much everything, to be honest. We're also going to work with a little bit of core, so an all-over workout really this morning. But to start with, let's just come to the seated position on your mat. So hands just resting nice and lightly on top of your legs, and really try and strengthen and lengthen through the spine. So perhaps imagining something is lifting you up from the crown of your head, just to encourage that spine to sit nice and tall. Shoulders are away from the ears and relaxed. And just close your eyes. Just focus on the breath. Just listening to the breath. Being present. Letting go of any thoughts or to-do lists. And throughout the practice, just coming back to your breath, to the here and the now. So on your next inhale, open the eyes, lift the arms up overhead and back down to your heart center. We're going to take the right hand to the side of the hip, lift up with the left, so really lengthening, and then bending over to the right. So make sure both sit bones remain on the floor, and it's really lifting and bending until you feel the stretch down that left side. So we're looking up towards the hand, or just above the elbow, and perhaps a slight bend in this right elbow on the floor. So you can take the left hand down to the side, and inhale, right arm up, lifting and just reaching over to the left. And come back down, shoulders back and round. We're just going to take a small twist, so right hand to the base of the spine this time, sitting up tall, so the nearer the hand is to the base of the spine, the more we're going to lengthen and twist, but wherever's comfortable. Lifting up with the left arm, I'm going to take it to the right knee, lifting up through the spine and the crown of the head on the inhale, and as you exhale, turn the gaze and twist round to the right. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. Take the gaze over the left shoulder, and just coming back to center. Swap the legs round the other way so we don't favour one side or the other, although one side always seems to seem a little bit harder than the other. So we're just going to take the left hand to the base of the spine, right hand lifts, and we're going to twist over towards the left. So right hand on the left knee, left hand to the base of the spine, inhale, lift, exhale, look over the left shoulder. Inhale, lift, exhale, twist. Inhale, lift, and exhale, twist. And take the gaze over the right shoulder, just coming back to center. So we're going to go into all fours now, so just rolling over onto all fours. So in all fours position, really making sure that the hips are directly over your knees, the shoulders are over your wrists. And we're going to engage the core, but keep the back neutral. So everything's neutral, shoulders are relaxed and broadened. And from here, we're just going to take a few cat-cow stretches. So on the inhale, we're going to lift the gaze, lift the heart center through, and then lift up the sit bones. Exhale, drop the head, start looking towards the navel as the shoulders push through, rounding the back into our cow. Inhale, lift the gaze, back is arched. Exhale, engage the core here as we come through our cat. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, gaze comes down, back rounds. And just come back to a neutral position. So really engaging the core here, engaging the Mula Bandha. We're going to just come up onto, just bringing our knees just slightly off the mat. So really strong through the hands, toes are tucked under, engaging the core. We don't really want the back at all to move, so we're keeping exactly the same position, but we're just going to lift the knees off the mat an inch and hold. Keep breathing and lower down. We're just going to do that again. So lift the knees off, everything is strong, everything is engaged here, and lower down. Last time, lift the knees off, core is engaged, and lower, back down. From here, we're going to go into our first downward dog. So toes are tucked under, and just lift up through the hips, driving the sit bones towards the ceiling as we settle in downward facing dog. So it's the first downward facing dog of the day, or of the class at least. So perhaps bending the knees, making sure you're comfortable. So checking your hands, the space between all the fingers and the thumb, middle fingers facing forward. Bending the knees so the chest is heading towards the knees, and really feeling the elongation between the sit bones and the palms of the hands. When you're comfortable here, then perhaps just lower the heels towards the floor. They might not get there, that's fine, the knees can stay bent. We're really wanting to keep that nice length between the sit bones and the hands. The shoulders are broadened, so no tension in the shoulders, no coming forward. And just settle here for a few breaths. Let the head hang. As we inhale, look towards the fingers, and we're just going to step through to the front of the mat. In a forward fold, so make sure that your ribs are touching your thighs here, so the legs probably be bent. And if you're comfortable here, then you can start lifting the sit bones up towards the ceiling. So we're just like bending the knees, we're just going to come up through standing, hands overhead, and back to heart center. And from here, we're going to come into Sun Salutation B. So bending at the knees, so we're sitting in a chair position, big toes touch, space between the heels. Really engaging the core and keeping the ribs down before we take the hands at a diagonal in front of us. So not overstretching through the shoulders, so nice and comfortable, shoulders coming down as we're also pushing away through the fingers. So this Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward, so chest meet thighs, hands either side of the toes as we release down into our forward fold. Exhale, bend the knees, lift the gaze, flatten the back, and step the right foot back, followed by the left into plank, so heels pushing towards the back of the room, nice and strong here. You can drop your knees and come down through your chest and chin, and then inhale up to cobra, back down to the floor. Change the feet. You can either come up through your knees or you can come straight back up into our downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to take the right foot and replace it where the right thumb was. Swap the left foot so it's at a 45-degree angle, making sure the knee is over the ankle, we're going to drive through that right leg as we reach up into our warrior one. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot. Swap that back foot, so we're now in a lunge, and take the right foot back to our plank and lowering down however you choose. With control, inhale into our cobra, exhale back to the floor, swap the feet under, either up through the knees or straight back up into our downward facing dog. This time the left foot comes forward, swaps with the left thumb, swap the back leg at a 45-degree angle, making sure the front leg's nice and bent and the knees not tracking over as we come up into our warrior one. Exhale, back down to the floor, rear foot swaps to a high lunge position, left foot meets the right, and we lower down with control so that elbows touch the chest. Inhale, cobra, exhale, back down and lifting back up through downward dog. So take a breath here, look towards the fingers, and you can step or hop back to the front of the mat. So we're in our half lift. From here, we're going to come up through chair, so through Utkatasana, and back to the front of the mat. We'll do a bit quicker this time, so back through chair, arms lift, exhale down, Utkatasana, inhale, lift, exhale, left foot goes back into plank, knees, chest, chin, Chaturanga Dandasana, up to cobra, back down to the floor, change the feet either through the knees, we're going back into downward facing dog. From here, right foot replaces right hand, the left leg comes in 45 degrees, checking alignment at the front as we come up through our warrior one. Exhale, back down to the floor, swap the left foot, right meets left, through Chaturanga Dandasana, up to cobra, down to the floor, swap the feet, and back up through our downward facing dog. Left foot replaces the left thumb, swap the right at 45 degrees, coming up through warrior one, back down, swap the right feet, left meets right, coming down through Chaturanga. When you come up through cobra, perhaps take the heels out slightly. It just gives you a bit more space through the back as we come back up through downward facing dog. And you can hop or step, or if you're feeling energetic, really bend the knees here as you jump forward into our half fold. Exhale, forward fold, and coming up through Utkatasana and back to the front. So one more time, inhale, arms lift, exhale, back down, and coming through chair, forward fold, stepping back through plank, down to the mat, inhale, cobra, exhale, back down and up through downward facing dog. Right foot replaces the right thumb, swap the left leg round to 45 degrees before you come up to warrior one. Back down to the mat, right meets left, Chaturanga Dandasana, inhale, exhale down, up through downward facing dog, left foot to the front, right foot at a 45 degree angle, last warrior one here, back down to the floor, Chaturanga Dandasana, knees, chest, chin if you prefer, cobra, back down, and our last downward facing dog. Resting here, holding here, come back to the breath, and step or hop back to the front of the mat, and through Utkatasana, and back to standing. So we're just going to work our way back down to the mat again. So just bending the knees, coming through our forward fold, half lift, stepping the feet back through plank and coming back into all four. So we just should be feeling nice and warmed up by now. So shoulders over wrists, hips over the knees, and we're just going to come back to our core hold that we did earlier on. So engaging the core, lift the knees off the mat and back down. The next time we do it, perhaps if you're feeling strong, you can bring the left hand to the right shoulder, and then we're going to bring down and right hand to the left shoulder. If that's too much for you, you can stay here, you can rest in child's pose, or you can just come back to the normal central position that we did earlier on. So make sure that your back feels strong, your stomach is engaged before you take any hands off the floor. Okay, so lifting the knees off. If you want to, take the left hand to the right shoulder, really trying to keep everything in the same position. Drop the knees back down. Lift the knees off, right hand to left shoulder, right hand back down, drop the knees back down. Well done. Okay, so just take a breath in child's pose here. Then coming forward, just come onto one side, and we're going to come onto our backs. So just beginning to relax down now, but just a quick counter pose to that stomach work we did. So hands to the feet hip distance apart. We're just going to take a few bridge poses here. So engaging the core, shoulders are down, chin is tucked. We're just going to raise the hips slowly off, peeling them off the mat, leaving the hands where they are, palms flat on the ground. And exhale, release, rounding the back vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale, lift, engaging the quads, engaging the glutes, no pinching in the neck, and relaxing back down. One last bridge pose as we come up, and exhale, back down. Okay, just bring the knees into the chest, wrap your arms around your knees, perhaps rock from side to side. You might like to take your head up towards your knees. And coming back down. Just taking the legs out long. We're going to come into Shavasana. Perhaps you're comfortable with your legs out in front of you, feet relaxing to the side. Perhaps you want to bring your knees up. If you do, just try and bring your knees in so they're kind of rolling in together on each other, and the back is then flat on the floor. However you feel comfortable, palms facing upwards. And just taking a few breaths here. Coming back to the breath. Closing the eyes. Being present on your mat. You listen to your body. Sending the breath to any areas of discomfort. And when you're ready, just rolling over onto one side into a fetal position and just helping yourself up to a seated position. So nice comfortable seat here, rubbing the palms Placing the palms over the eyes, opening the eyes to the energies. Bring the palms back to heart center. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.